Let's continue the conversation now, and to do so, I'm pleased to welcome in my old congressional colleague who's now the president of the Club for Growth, David McIntosh. David joins us from Newsmax, Washington, and as always, David, we appreciate your time here on Newsmax Prime. I got to tell you, I was just talking to John Zogby, and we were going over the new Bloomberg poll showing top earners seem to be shifting their support to Hillary Clinton. Now, it's not huge right now. It's about a 4-point situation there, 46 to 42%. But are you concerned that it could affect tickets, races down the ticket?
The biggest effect will be on fundraising, actually, and we're seeing that the Republican Party hasn't raised nearly as much as they did 4 years ago. Interestingly, the corresponding counter effect is folks in the 99% are shifting. A lot of the working Democrats are now registering as Republicans in states like Ohio and Pennsylvania. So I've always said this race will be one that you got to watch the net effects of the changes that we're seeing.
You know, in the old days, if you just threw money at television, things would work out. Hillary's been trying to do that, but it hasn't happened yet. And you and I have gone through experiences as members of Congress with town halls and then debates during a campaign. A guy who is running for Congress as a Democrat in Florida, Charlie Crist, used to be the Republican governor, was in a debate with David Jolly the other night, and I want you to listen to the reaction when Charlie Crist says he believes Hillary Clinton is honest.
I am proud of Hillary Clinton. I think she's been a very good Secretary of State, a very good senator from the state of New York. The thing I like most about her is I believe that she is steady. I believe that she is strong. I believe that she is honest, and I look forward to voting for her.
Now, I got to tell you, David, that sounded as if it were taping a sitcom in front of a live audience. That became a laugh line. That tells you what voters in Florida are thinking about Hillary Clinton.
I think everywhere. I saw a poll by a columnist today that showed fewer people in America think Hillary Clinton is honest than believe in Bigfoot. So it tells you everybody knows you can't trust her when she talks about something.
Now, of course, to trust us, we have to be upfront on things, and we can point out the Club for Growth has not exactly been the biggest collective fan of Donald Trump, but you are seeing some good things in his tax proposal. What do you think he got right?
I have. I think he got it right on cutting taxes, on the corporate rate and the reducing the brackets, on bringing back foreign income by letting them repatriate. And then a big impact will be the program to reduce the regulatory burden on U.S. companies. I think that actually is the key, rather than tariffs, to deal with the trade problems we have. You know, Americans can compete anywhere in the world if we don't have a chain and ball wrapped around ourselves because of government regulations. So I think he had some very good points on the economy. His desire to see a 4% growth rate is exactly what we need, and it lets us solve a lot of the other problems. As you know, J.D., when we balanced the budget back in the 90s, we did it with a growing economic rate, and that let the government bring in actually the revenue it needed to spend the things it was spending on.
Well, obviously, I think Trump's got it right on taxes, especially the corporate rate. And I think he's got it right, as you say, on regulatory overkill, trying to come back to rational regulations. Now, we may all have a different opinion on China and trade, but still, there seems to be much more that unites pro-growth Republicans with the Trump ticket than certainly somebody like Hillary Clinton. And it's interesting the quantification we're seeing. We touched earlier on down ticket races. An article in the Denver Post says the GOP is seeing brighter prospects for keeping its majority. The Senate may be an uphill battle. The House should be okay, but of course in politics, you know you can't take anything for granted. What races are you following closely? Any candidates the Club for Growth especially concerned about in the minute we have left here to talk about?
Yeah, so there are 4 Senate races that are key. Number 1 on the list is Pat Toomey in Pennsylvania. So goes Pennsylvania, so goes control of the Senate, I believe. And Pat has had a sterling record, kept a 90+% on the club scorecard, is in the race of his life, neck and neck. We're supporting him. We just started an ad this week pointing out that his Democrat opponent supported the biggest tax increase in history in Pennsylvania and now wants to increase taxes in Washington even more than Hillary Clinton does. We're looking at Wisconsin, Ron Johnson's reelect, Marco Rubio, and then in Louisiana, Dr. Fleming, who comes from the House, is a solid conservative in that big 3-way race to replace Senator Vitter. In the House, I would tell you, support Scott Garrett in New Jersey, a true believer, fights for deregulation in the financial industry. And then one of my favorites is a guy, Rod Blum, in Iowa. Rod is a solid conservative, has never backed away from his principles, but he's in a Democratic district. So the Democrats
that could be tough. Oh, man, I know how that is, David. I had that situation myself. David McIntosh, and we should point out for the record that Pat Toomey, now the senator from Pennsylvania, used to have the job you have now as president of the Club for Growth. David McIntosh, my former congressional colleague, the gentleman from Indiana, thanks very much for checking in tonight from Newsmax, Washington. When we come back, Diamond and Silk, the YouTube sensations who've been opening for Donald Trump at rallies, they're going to be here. Stay with us.